So for reading the past few weeks, we have been looking at non-fiction expository texts about animals and their habitats. And today we're going to continue that work by reading about polar bears. Now, a polar bear's habitat is in the Arctic, specifically the North Pole. Okay. This book is written by Mark Newman, and interestingly enough, it's actually the pictures in it are also taken by Mark Newman, so he's a man of many talents. What do you think you know about polar bears? Pause the video and jot down some ideas or talk to a stuffy or someone in your house about what you think you know about polar bears. All right, so I think I know that polar bears are big, and I think they have blubber to keep them warm. Those are some things that I think I know. I'm interested to hear what you think you know. Do you have questions or wonders about polar bears? Something that you'd really like to find out? Pause the video again and write down a few questions or wonders, or say them out loud. One question or wonder I have is, what do polar bears eat? I'm also wondering, how long do they live? What's their life expectancy? That's a couple questions I have. I wonder if they'll be answered as we read today. Up here I have a double entry journal, and we've done double entry journals a few times in school. Basically, it's split up into two parts. The first part is what we wonder. So in this part, I'll be writing down questions I have or wonders, things I'm thinking about. And then after we're done reading, we're going to be filling out the what we learned portion of this double entry journal. The what we learned is where we'll write the things that we didn't know before, but now we know. So it's split up into two parts to kind of separate our thinking and our thoughts. And you'll see at the top it says double entry journal about polar bears. You're going to get a chance to fill out a double entry journal by yourself later this week. So stay tuned for that. All right, let's go ahead and read some of this book. We'll begin it today, but we won't finish it. We'll get to a chance to read more of it later this week. So let's take a look. Polar bears. Polar Bears by Mark Newman. Now remember, Mark Newman also took the pictures in this book. So those adorable photographs you're seeing, he wrote it and took the pictures. Polar bears are big. The polar bear is the biggest bear in the world. They're even bigger than the Kodiak brown bear. A giant male polar bear can weigh 1,700 pounds. That's about as heavy as a small car. Females usually weigh less than males. One polar bear was said to weigh 2,200 pounds. That's more than a ton of bear. Polar bears are tiny. Polar bears weigh only 1 pound at birth. They will grow to 30 times their birth weight by the time they leave the den. A mother polar bear is not able to eat while she nurses her babies from January to April. By then, mother polar bears are very hungry. Can you imagine not eating from January to April? I don't know if I'd survive. Polar bears are pretty amazing. Polar bears are twins. Most polar bear mothers give birth to twins. Although polar bears usually do not hibernate, expectant mother polar bears do. Mating occurs in mid-spring, and females dig a den into a snowdrift in the fall. Babies are born inside the den in early January. The den is cozy, staying 40 degrees warmer than the frigid Arctic air outside. Okay, we're going to pause there. What have you learned about polar bears so far? Pause the video and write down something or say it out loud to a stuffy. So one thing I learned is that polar bears are usually twins. That's a pretty interesting fact. I also learned that mother bears don't eat from January through April when they have new babies. That, to me, is the craziest thing I read about today. Can't believe it. All right, so we're going to keep reading a little bit more, and then we're going to do the same process. So we're going to talk about what we learned and if we wonder anything else. So let's keep reading and make sure you keep careful watch on some new things that you learned. Polar bears struggle. Baby polar bears will stay with their mother for over 2 years as she teaches them all the skills they'll need to make it in adulthood. But being a baby bear is not easy. 3 out of 4 do not survive to see their 3rd birthday. Wow. I thought polar bears were like these big, strong, nothing can take them down animals, but only 1 out of the 4 will make it to their 3rd birthday. Polar bears live in the Arctic. Polar bears live only in the north. Unlike penguins, they do not live in the Antarctic. Penguins and polar bears never get to meet in the wild. Polar bears live in only 5 countries, all of which surround the North Pole: Russia, Canada, the United States, in Alaska, Norway, and Greenland. There's a cool map. Polar bears are not really white. Looks white to me. Let's read on. Despite what they look like and what most people think, polar bears are black, not white. Under all that warm, thick fur, their skin is totally dark. The fur itself is made up of clear, hollow hairs, sort of like hollow tubes that contain no color whatsoever. The bears look like they are white only because their clear hair reflects light. Okay, we need to pause here and talk about a few things that we learned from this part. Pause the video and write it down or turn to someone or a stuffy about something you learned from that part in the book. Okay, I learned that they are actually black. That was crazy to me. And that their fur is clear and it reflects the sun to make it look white. Those were 2 crazy things I learned. And the other crazy thing, only 1 out of 4 babies survives to its 3rd birthday. Wow, this book is great. I feel like I'm a polar bear expert now. Okay, let's take a minute and see if any of our wonders or questions have been answered. So my 2 were, what do polar bears eat and how long do they live? I guess we sort of answered part of this, that 3 out of 4 don't make it to their 3rd birthday. So that question has been answered a little bit, not what they eat yet. Were any of your questions or wonders answered as we read the first part of this book? All right, friends, so that's all for polar bears today. We still have a lot of the book to go, and I can't wait to read it because I feel like I'm learning a lot about polar bears. So check back in later this week. We'll do a little bit more questioning and wondering with polar bears. And so that is all for now. Take the rest of your reading time to do some independent reading. Thank you, friends.